Sports for Real with Coach Hall. Today I want to talk about law number 5 of the 48 laws of power, and that is, so much depends on respect. Guard it with your life. If you recall the movie Malcolm X, the Malcolm X character called out West Indian Archie, who has a reputation of never forgetting a number, for forgetting his number, which was 821. Charlie said, "You didn't have that." And then X called him out and said, "Yeah, don't you remember when I did this?" So Archie got upset. He just pulled his money out of his pocket, paid him, and got up. Well, what he was going to do is go back and check his ribbon to make sure he didn't actually miss a number. Whether he did or not, he wasn't going to admit it in the first place because his rep was on the line. So as he gets up to go, he tells Sammy to come with him. Sammy said, "I'll be right there." Then he proceeds to tell X that, this man's rep's on the line, you just called him out. But if you're lying, you're a dead man, because this man's going to protect his rep with his life. So you know how the rest of the movie went. But in relation to sports, there's a whole lot of different ways we can go with these sports analogies that matches up with this particular law. Well, let's talk Deion Sanders. He's the first person that comes to mind when I think of this. Got a couple instances with this guy. The first, a couple months ago, I saw him telling this story about this disagreement he had with one of his teammates about a coverage. And if you know anything about Deion, he wants to play great and he wants to look good doing it. Well, when you play certain coverages, it looks like the cornerback is being beat, but what he's really doing is passing the receiver off to the safety, kind of like a cover 2. So if it looks like he's being beat, it might sucker the quarterback into throwing the ball, and the safety is supposed to be there to make the play. Well, a couple times, evidently this guy, he wasn't getting the pass off correct. He wasn't doing his job, and it's making Deion look bad. So he called him out on it. And he just basically telling him, "Man, you need to do the job," because his reputation was on the line. He didn't want to look bad. But the other situation where actually Deion did look bad, and he might not want to remember this or admit it, but one game, John Madden was calling the game between the Colts, and I think Deion was with the Cowboys at the time. And he was on the right side. Harrison was on the right side, and he put some kind of move on Deion. He was wide open. And Deion, he started hobbling like he had pulled a muscle or something. Well, fortunately for him, the ball went to the other side. But if it had not been for John Madden, we never would have known about it. Because John Madden said, "This is the first time I've ever seen a guy get hurt and well on the same play." Because the ball went to the other side, Sanders wasn't being beat. But he was trying to say or show you that, well, if you did throw him the ball, man, I tweaked the hamstring or something, and that's the only reason he got beat. But once the ball went to the other side, he miraculously got healthy again. But his reputation was on the line, and he didn't want to look bad, so he pulled the old fake injury routine. Now, speaking of John Madden, he has the reputation of being the world's greatest sportscaster. Well, I might have believed that until one particular play, well, that kind of like went out the window. It was that famous playoff game between Green Bay and Philadelphia, and this particular day, Ahman Green was running the air out the ball, and they was fixing to put Philly to sleep right in that first half. So the play I'm speaking about, Green broke loose. He was gone. The only person back there was Spider-Man, Brian Dawkins. Dawkins came at him from the angle. Just picture you running, and the safety is on your left, trying to cut you off. So right about the 10-yard line, Green had to make a decision. Question: what does the average kid in America running the football on Pop Warner, Pee Wee, whatever league, what is he going to do if a guy's coming at you from an angle like that? Got the answer? Well, he's going to cut back. But Green didn't do that. Green just kept on running. Dawkins ran him out of bounds at about the 4-yard line. What happened next? The Eagles put a goal line stand on him. So that 4th and 25 you heard about, it never would have went down had Ahman Green just cut back and scored the ball. That was a major mistake by Green. But the problem that I have with it, nobody said nothing. John Madden, the great broadcaster, how does he not know that was a very, very pivotal play in the game, a very basic play that any running back in America should make? But Madden missed it. And from then on, I started looking at him sideways when it came to making great plays in the booth. But his reputation that day took a major hit with me. So speaking of all of that, it brings me all back to Ja Morant. Ja Morant is dealing with reputation issues about whether or not he should even be allowed to play in the NBA. He's got the talent, and he's got the skills to make up to $1 billion if he stays in the league long enough, especially if he keeps getting these $200 million contracts. But the NBA, they have a reputation to protect. And they can't have somebody going off and being a rogue behavior issue and taking that reputation. So if he's going to continue to do such things, then he's not going to last in the league very long. It's common sense, and somebody needs to pull him aside and tell him what's going on. But evidently, he must be getting somewhat of an idea about what's going on, because now he's starting to leave big tips to his waitresses. I just saw a report where he left a waitress a $500 tip. So good for Morant. Now let's put those guns away and let's play some basketball. Sports for real.